1. The mirror arrives. It started with an antique mirror. I found it at a flea market on the outskirts of town, tucked behind a pile of dusty porcelain dolls and cracked frames. It stood tall, ornate, and elegant, its frame carved with strange, twisting vines that looked almost alive under the flickering fluorescent lights. The seller, a frail old woman with clouded eyes, smiled when I touched it. "It belonged to a girl who liked to watch," she said, voice papery thin. "She never liked being alone." I laughed, brushing it off. Old mirrors always came with ghost stories. But I bought it anyway. And that's when the nightmares began. Point 2. The first reflection. I hung the mirror in my bedroom, directly across from my bed. A mistake in hindsight. The first few nights, I didn't think much of it. But on the 5th night, I woke up around 2:11 a.m., gasping, heart pounding, and I saw her. I in the mirror. A girl. She was standing behind me, or rather, behind my reflection. Pale skin, long black hair dripping as if wet, eyes hidden behind a curtain of tangled strands. I turned quickly, but my room was empty. The mirror showed nothing but me, alone, shaking, and wide-eyed. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Point 3. The girl in the glass. Every night after that, she came closer. At first, I convinced myself it was sleep paralysis or the shadows playing tricks. But I began keeping a notebook beside my bed, documenting each visit. And each night, I'd see more of her. Night 6, standing at the far wall. Night 7, at the foot of the bed. Night 8, reaching toward the mirror's surface. Her hands were pale, bruised, her fingernails blackened and cracked. But the worst part, she started smiling. And when I blinked, she moved. Not in the mirror, in my room. Point 4. Flickering reality. I began to dread going to bed. I even started sleeping on the couch. But the mirror, it called to me. Sometimes when I passed my bedroom door, the light would flicker on. The mirror would face me even when I knew it had been angled toward the wall. Point 1 night, I woke up on the living room couch and she was there. In the TV reflection, standing in the hallway behind me. I spun around. Nothing. That I was alone. But my notebook had a new entry written in ink I didn't own. "Why don't you turn around?" 5. Scratches. I tried to get rid of the mirror. I carried it to the curb, wrapped it in a blanket, and waited for the garbage truck. The next morning, it was back on my bedroom wall. I asked my roommate, Lily, if she brought it back in. She stared at me like I was insane. "You've been in your room all night, talking to yourself." I showed her the mirror. She just saw a mirror. No girl.
No scratches.
No darkness. But when I was alone, I could hear whispers coming from it. Breathy, broken phrases. "Almost ready? Just one more look?" Then the scratching started. From inside the glass. Point 6. Roommate gone missing. Lily went missing 2 nights later. I woke up to screaming and found her door wide open. Her sheets were twisted, her window shattered inward. Not out, her phone was still on the nightstand. But the mirror now showed me, trapped inside, eyes wide with terror, hands pressed against the other side of the glass. I smashed it with a hammer. The glass didn't even crack, but the reflection smiled. Point 7. The story began as I started researching. The frame had markings, occult etchings, barely visible under the dust. The historian confirmed the order from the 1800s, a symbol of fire, of containment. The mirror had a name, Speculum Demonium. failure, but I know the truth. Evelyn doesn't like Escape Point 15. If you're reading this, maybe you're here because you found this story online. Maybe you read this on your phone, your tablet, or your laptop. Maybe you've already looked in a mirror today. Maybe she's already watching you, and if so, listen carefully. Never stare into your reflection in the dark. Never speak to it, and whatever you do, don't answer when it whispers back. Because Evelyn is patient, and her mirror is hungry. Point 16. The final reflection. I am fading. I can feel it.m. Y features blur more each day. My voice gets softer. Soon I'll be like the others. One of the quiet ones in the back. Eyes blank, soul cracked,